It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.
The champion!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hi, how are you doing today? I'm Rupha Ramani and you're watching Firstpost. Yes, the Cricket World Cup fever is continuing in the country. It's all heating up. The contests are getting better and tighter as we speak. And of course, this weekend is going to be a big matchup. It's going to all heat up in Ahmedabad, and we'll get you the ringside view there. I'll be going and getting you all the updates, all the sidelines, the views, the noises, the sounds and sights of the city of Ahmedabad, along where India and Pakistan will be clashing. So yes, lots to look forward to over the weekend, but let's also see what's lined up in the show for you today. It was 2 out of 2 at the World Cup for India yesterday. Rohit Sharma blew away the Delhi crowd as he crushed a century. Apart from being the player of the match, what other feats did he achieve? We'll tell you. New Zealand is all ready for its third encounter in the World Cup. They too have been on a very successful run and they've grabbed everyone's attention. Their next test is a spin challenge at Chepauk against Bangladesh. Someone from Black Caps joins us here for an exclusive interview. Stay tuned, you'll see. And over in tennis, fans await a grand welcome from a Grand Slam champion. Rafael Nadal is set to make a comeback at the Australian Open next year. Will he be at his best, and is the last embers of the Big Three rivalry still on the cards? That and lots more coming your way, but what's making all the headlines from the world of sports? We'll see in Sports 360. Now, according to reports, US-based football club Inter Miami will not loan out Lionel Messi after the Major League Soccer ends. He has been rumoured to return to FC Barcelona and even linked with the Saudi Pro League. Messi has scored a total of 11 goals in 13 games across all competitions for the club. French striker Karim Benzema has said that he was tempted by Saudi Arabia's offer to move to Al Ittihad. He said it was a huge project and the fact that it is a Muslim country made him move to Riyadh. Benzema is one of the biggest names in the football arena to move to the Saudi Pro League. His deal was reportedly worth over $100 million. In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz admitted it would be difficult to end the year as world #1 this season. This comes after the 20-year-old was knocked out of the Shanghai Masters in the round of 16. That was a major blow to his aspirations of overtaking Novak Djokovic and regaining that top spot. Zheng Qinwen advanced to the quarterfinal of the Zhengzhou Open in China. The local favourite recorded a 7-6, 6-3 win over third-seeded Maria Sakkari of Greece. The match lasted for almost 2 hours to reach the next round. Qinwen will now face Ukraine's Angelina Kalina. And of course, a lot's happening in the World Cup as well. So let's get you through all that's making the headlines in our Cup of Dreams headlines. Indian batter Shubman Gill, who went ahead of his squad to Ahmedabad after recovering from his illness, had his first training session in the city earlier today. It was behind closed doors, no media was allowed, and he only faced throwdowns. That's definitely a heartening sign for the team. Pakistan Cricket Board Chairman Zaka Ashraf will arrive in India today. He has confirmed his attendance for the match between India and Pakistan on Saturday. This comes after Indian authorities resolved the matter of pending visas for Pakistani fans and journalists. One person was arrested by Indian authorities for sending a threat to blow up the Ahmedabad stadium. Additional special forces have also been deployed at the venue ahead of the match between India and Pakistan on Saturday. Indian security forces have declared Ahmedabad city a no-drone zone. Earlier, India had deployed 11,000 security personnel for the match. And Kane Williamson and Tim Southee have cleared their fitness tests. They are now eligible to be included in the squad against Bangladesh. Williamson and Southee had to sit out of New Zealand's first two matches of the World Cup. They, of course, play Bangladesh tomorrow. Now let's start with cricket and the World Cup that's happening in India. Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, provided all the entertainment in a match that was a largely one-sided affair, like a few already in this tournament so far. To get to the target of 273, it was fitting that the captain took the lead and made short work of it, getting India across the finish line with 15 overs to spare. And what a blistering knock that was. A masterful 131 of just 84 balls, with hits all around the park. Ishan Kishan at the other end got a front row seat of the brilliance. Here are the records that knock broke. Rohit became the fastest Indian to score 1,000 runs in ODI World Cups, just 19 innings. He struck the fastest century by an Indian in ODI World Cups, just 63 balls. Has now hit most sixes by any cricketer in international cricket, 555 and counting. He surpassed Chris Gales with this one. And holds most centuries by any cricketer in ODI World Cup, 7. Now that is remarkable. We always talk of Virat Kohli as the master constructor of innings. Rohit is the masterful stroke maker, and he's seen the highs and lows of international cricket in his career so far, much like his World Cup this tournament itself. One day he gets out without opening his account, another day he chomps down the bowling attack. Being hailed as the most talented Indian batter is not a title that will tide you through all times. That's how it's been with Rohit. He's had some rough phases in his career where the law of averages seemed like it would catch up, and just then he would serve us a reminder of why he's one of the best batters in the world. Now he boasts of 3 double hundreds. Not 1, not 2, 3. And that's the first one. In 2013 against Australia, 209 out of 158. And then, of course, in 2014 against Sri Lanka, 264, that's massive. And then he went on to make a third double hundred, that's 208 again versus Sri Lanka in 2017. Against quality sides, he's scored, and he's scored big. And we talk of playing under pressure being the true mark of a champion. Rohit is that and more. Where the world speaks of Kohli and Warner, Smith, Barber, Williamson or Root, Rohit Sharma quietly goes about the business. He was the top run getter, in fact, in the 2019 Cricket World Cup, overtaking the very names that we've just mentioned. With 500s, close to 700 runs, at an average of 81, but something short of 100. And there's little doubt that just about everyone forgets the match situation to watch his stroke making in awe, like KL Rahul was at the ground last night, or all of us for a moment when we were watching the match at the stadium. He makes you forget the importance of or the significance, the relevance of the match, because all that matters then is the art, and he's one of the best artists going around. He painted the skies and dotted the different parts of the ground with artistic elegance. The fluency of flamboyance he may lack in interviews, he makes up for while out with the willow. He spoke about India having some unfinished business at the World Cup, the unfinished business of winning one, of leaving the field achieving the one thing that they all have always dreamt of. But we are seeing his bat do all the talking now. All right, now moving on. The 11th ODI at the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup will be played between New Zealand and Bangladesh tomorrow at Chennai. Bangladesh started off, of course, on a strong foot with a win over Afghanistan in the tournament opener. But that momentum faltered when Shakib Al Hasan and his men faced the defending champions England, who registered a convincing win over them. Meanwhile, New Zealand will be looking forward to continuing their winning form. They've been unstoppable. They've secured 2 successive victories so far. Kane Williamson is back, and the New Zealand dressing room whispers hints of the team being more confident than ever before. Senior pacer Tim Southee has also been declared fit to be available for selection against Bangladesh in that clash tomorrow. But if you look at the head-to-head between the two teams in ODI World Cups alone, they've faced each other 5 times, and all 5 have been won by New Zealand. So that's something that Bangladesh will probably have somewhere at the back of their mind. But for today, we have an exclusive interview with a Kiwi, who took the first wicket of the 2023 ODI World Cup. I spoke with Matt Henry a while earlier. Take a look. Joining me is New Zealand bowler Matt Henry. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Matt. It's been a great start to the World Cup.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
All right, the first question, of course, I have to ask you is, as a visiting country and a bowler here, what's the one thing that you always keep in mind when you're looking to bowl in these conditions?
Yeah, I think you have to be very accurate. Obviously, there's not as much on offer as what we're used to at home, that bit of pace and bounce. Obviously, there's some places here in India that you'll get that, but I think the key part is probably adapting to surfaces. So just understanding what's going to be effective, and then look at your tool set and see what you can best, how you can best apply it.
Now, without, of course, the presence of Southee and Lockie in the first two matches, has there been that added sense of pressure?
Not at all. I think we've been playing with this side for a while now, and we've been building into this World Cup nicely, and it's something that we're here and enjoying, and it's great to be here and being a part of this Cricket World Cup. So I wouldn't say there's pressure. I think it's something that it's more excitement really coming here to a World Cup, and we're really enjoying our time here in India, and it's something that we're enjoying.
Right, but I have to obviously ask you about that first match, the tournament opener. It was billed as a revenge encounter. Take us through your spells, and especially dismissing someone like Joss Buttler.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day is trying to create pressure against England. They obviously like to come out and attack, and is trying to make sure that we can restrict them as much as we can, and ask them to hit different areas really. And yeah, thankfully, getting Joss out was a really important part of that. We know how destructive he is and the power that he possesses, and he was kind of looking threatening at that time. So it's always good to get him out at that point.
Right, and of course you followed that up with a win against Netherlands, and of course the star performer was Mitch Santner. Just tell us a bit about him and what that performance meant.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. I think he's been so good for us for so long now, and to see him just continue on showing his class was brilliant. And last night was just another example of that really. To see him finish off the innings, we know how dangerous he is with the bat at the end of the innings, and he executed it beautifully. And then to come out with the ball, as always, has beautiful control. And then there was obviously a lot more on offer for the spinners last night with a bit of turn, and he just extracted that beautifully. Really smart in how he went about his work, and we know how well the Netherlands have been playing as well. So we knew they were a dangerous side. They put us under pressure in different parts of the game, and I thought the guys stood up and handled that pressure well.
But speaking about your team itself, Matt, what is the one thing in terms of your vision or your mantra as a unit that sets you apart? What's your team dynamics, or what is it that you guys rely on when it comes to your vision?
I think when we come here, I think what we talk about a lot is communication and adapting, because we're not too sure what the wicket's going to present like, and it's something that we need to be really quick on adjusting. And I think that having the experience in the group that we've got now, and we can call on those different skills at different times. So I think it's just executing that as best as we can. Sometimes it looks a little bit different. If it's not as batter friendly, then we'll just have to assess and change the target that we're trying to get with the bat. And then likewise with the ball, if it ends up being a really good wicket, a bit dewy, how do we figure that out, and how do we restrict runs as much as we can?
But you are a fun bunch. We'd like to know how you guys bond otherwise. What is it that brings you all together?
Oh, massively. We're here for a long time, so thankfully we all like each other. That helps. We've been together for a long time, this group. We've played a lot of cricket together, so exactly like you said, off the field, having fun and enjoying it. It's a World Cup. You get to play for your country in a world event. We're here in India, massive cricket festival. It doesn't get much better than that. So I think for us as a group, something we really enjoy is coffee at home. So we've got our coffee machine. We set that up in the team room, and pretty much an open door policy with guys coming in and out all day. Some guys think their latte art's a little bit better than others. Some just happy to have a coffee. So I think that's probably a bit of a centre point for this group. It's nice to just always walk in knowing there's someone in there having a laugh. So I think that's one of the things we like to do off the field.
Just a word on, of course, your sort of leader of the pack, Kane Williamson. Of course, we haven't seen him on the field just yet, but it must be good to have a presence of someone like him in that dressing room.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, having Kane here, doing his rehab and getting back into playing cricket has been brilliant. Just having him back in the environment has been fantastic. And whenever it is that he comes back playing for us, it's always an exciting time. He's absolute class with the bat. He's shown that for a long time. And as well as Tom, he's been leading this team as well a lot over this last few years, and he's been doing an excellent job. So to have the two as leaders in this group, and we're very, very lucky.
All right, but we have to speak a bit about Tom Layden, someone you know really well. What kind of a captain has he proved to be? He's had a good start.
Tom's a brilliant captain. I've been lucky enough to grow up with Tom, so he's been a captain right through for me. So yeah, he understands the pace of play, and I think the way that he's been managing his bowlers over here especially, he's done a really good job, and there's no surprise there. He's captained a lot for New Zealand, and he's a very good captain. And then obviously having Kane here as well, and Tim, we've got a lot of different leaders in this group, which is a great position to be in.
Right, and of course, no surprises then when I ask you who's your best mate in the squad.
I've got a lot of friends in this group, but I'd have to say Tom. We grew up together, and we spent a lot of time together in Canterbury as well.
All right, no surprises there with your answer. But Matt, thank you so much for giving us your time and chatting with us here at Firstpost. Now moving on to tennis. For many tennis fans, the best part of the last decade was spent witnessing a three-way rivalry. Three differently skilled modern superstars of the game, battling it out for top honours: Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. With Roger Federer stepping away from the courts and putting a full stop to his illustrious career last year, it was up to Djokovic and Nadal to continue helming the rivalry for the sport and its growth. But Rafael Nadal injured himself in January this year, and for a whole year the sport has been a tad poorer. Sure, we've seen some youngsters stepping up to entertain and try to give Djokovic some fight. But let's be honest, Novak Djokovic himself would admit it's been a rather lonely top floor for the Serb. He's won 3 Grand Slams of the 4 this year. Now the King of Clay is set to make his return, exactly a year from when he had to step away. Rafa is set to make a comeback after his injury break in the Australian Open next year, the very tournament where he played his last match. Let's first look at why this comeback is going to be a difficult one for Nadal to execute. Much of what his fans would not want to relive. Now, his career has been rife with injuries. Nadal's first major injury came in 2003, where he hurt his elbow. That forced him to postpone his French Open debut. The 37-year-old has since then sustained a string of mishaps, one after another. A stress fracture in his ankle, a foot injury the next year, a forearm injury, tendinitis the next year, his knee in 2010, the tendinitis again in 2012, a wrist injury in 2014, the back then the same year, the wrist again. He remained injury-free for 4 years, and then it caught up again over the last 3 years. The last one, of course, being the hip injury that he had to undergo surgery for this year that kept him away from the sport. Listen to what he said after he injured himself at the Australian Open in 2023.
La lesión que me hice en Australia pues no ha evolucionado como...
The evolution of the injury I sustained in Australia has not gone as I would have liked. We would have been working non-stop while focusing on future goals. Although I have missed some along the way, and Roland Garros, which was the most important goal, has become impossible. At this moment, I won't be able to be at the Roland Garros after many years of having not missed that competition. With what that tournament means to me, you can imagine how difficult it is for me to make this decision. Well, I didn't make the decision, my body did.
Really disheartening, especially if you're a Rafa fan, to see him say those words. And of course, that was elongated and it was a longer break. He really couldn't come back right after then to play any other Grand Slam. And now, after hearing this, there is some hope. And despite that, he came out every single time and clinched a Grand Slam despite going through all those injuries. Now, he's now at 22 Grand Slams. The long list of injuries might have slowed him down, but it hasn't stopped him yet. The question all tennis and Rafa fans want to ask: can he possibly scale Djokovic at all? Now, here's how these two have fared against each other. Now, they've played each other about 59 times. And as you can see, of course, you see the stark difference in the numbers when it comes to the clay court versus the rest. Djokovic at 8 and then Nadal at 20. Now, what makes this comeback the most anticipated one till date is the prospect of seeing these two face each other again. But comebacks are not easy. It takes time to get that momentum, that rhythm and stamina hitting its peak once more. And let's be honest, at 37, age is definitely not on Nadal's side. Djokovic is no younger. He's 36, but he's playing some of his best tennis and he's managed to keep his body and mind fit. In that battle, he edges Nadal. Tennis as a sport requires grit and commitment. The desire to claiming the top spot might be here, but that road is going to be a slippery one, especially for Rafael Nadal. But knowing the bull that he has been and proved to be time and again, this one will be another challenge, one that he'll only wait to take on. All right, that brings us, of course, to the end of the show. But as always, we leave you with something special, a little something that we call the last serve or our parting shot. Here's a Pakistani cricket fan's ode to an Indian legend. Rest assured, all of that will be forgotten when this weekend comes, and of course, sides will be divided when they're cheering for India and Pakistan. But yes, we'll be there to bring you the coverage of that very, very exciting game, and of course, our coverage here on the Cricket World Cup continues. Thanks so much for watching First Sports. I'll of course see you from Ahmedabad tomorrow. Take care, bye.